Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Well, hello, dears. How have y'all been doing? I hope you are all doing well. If you are watching me over on Psych Design TV 2, thank you so much. And if you are over on Down for the Count, hello. We're going to be recapping Monday Night Raw. It just went off the air, and I'm going to tell y'all everything that was said and done. Okay, starting off, the show opened up. If I can remember, who opened the show? The Usos. At least we thought we were getting the Usos because they were rudely interrupted by Paulina in the game. Now, Paulina and her pussycat dolls came out there and they got the pussyfooting around being real mad and shit about this masked man who keeps coming in costing the 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 group all of their shit. They don't like that. They're very mad. They blame Adam. They blame everybody else instead of taking any type of responsibility for anything. They tend to blame themselves, everybody else. So we all sitting there, we listening. They still droning on about how this is a conspiracy, blase, blase, blase. How they're not leaving. Adam comes out there and he's like, "Look, I don't have time to be dealing with this bullshit. Okay, I don't have time for this. Like if y'all want to come back here in the back and we can discuss this like grown adults, then bring your asses. But if you're not gonna come back in the back and discuss it, we don't have nothing to talk about. We have nothing to talk about." And of course, Paulina was like, "Oh, you want us to come in the back? You want us to come in the back? Well, we're not going back there. We're not doing that. We're not going back there because I know you know what's going on, and you keep trying to pretend like you don't know what's going on. And we are not leaving this ring until we get what we want." And he was like, "I want Bronson Reed in the elimination chamber. The only way we're leaving is if Bronson Reed is in the elimination chamber. Is he in the chamber?" And Adam was like, "You know what? I don't have no problem with Bronson Reed going to the chamber if he earns the spot. We're not handing anybody anything." So Bronson Reed, as a matter of fact, has a match at the chamber for the chamber slot next week. Just like everybody else has to qualify, he has to qualify. So as long as he qualifies, he's in the chamber. I have nothing against that. Now, if you please get your thick ass out my ring, because we got work to do. Of course, they still stayed in there. And that's when LA Knight came down there, and LA was like, "Look, all y'all little crows that y'all been putting out for the last year are now coming to roost. You mad? You mad because it was like it wasn't too long ago where y'all had a little masked intruder coming in and helping y'all out and helping beat up everybody else. Wasn't it your homeboy that was coming around here curb stomping people? Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Oh, it's a problem because it's happening to you." He was like, "All right, cool. It don't matter. Let me put it to you this way. Look, I know me and the Usos don't sit horses as well as we should, and I'm okay with that. They okay being who they are. I'm okay with being who I am. But I don't mind being on their team and whooping y'all asses tonight. Do y'all mind?" The Usos said, "Nah, we got you. Yeet, let's go." So it was a 6-man tag team match, impromptu, because this was not announced. But apparently, it was a 6-man tag team match. In this match, okay, the match happened. We're not going to go over what happened in the match. We're just going to say the match happened and that the Vision was able to pick up the win. That's not what you need to be paying attention to, bitch. What you need to be concerned with is what happened at the end, okay? When Logan Paul got real big in his britches after a tsunami was eaten by LA Knight once again. Logan Paul grabbed the headset from Michael Cole, screaming at us on commentary about how the Vision is here to take over. We're going to do this and you can't do anything about it. Did you see that? We dominated. And then all of a sudden, he said nothing because the man's face was buried inside of the table. That's right, friends. While Brian Sharif was trying to get his thick ass off the top rope and back into the day out of the ring, the masked intruder had came and curb stomped the shit out of Logan Paul. Now here come Brian Sharif trying to run after him. Masked intruder gone, sped up the steps and was standing at the top of the key. Never said nothing, never took his mask off. They standing there staring at him. We still don't know who this Negro is. We don't know. We don't know. We have no clue. Okay, we don't know who he is. Pretty sure it's pretty sure I have an idea. Hey, how y'all doing? But we don't know who this man is. Okay, we're trying. Anyways, we move on from there. Okay, because after we got that, we got a qualifier match. I believe the qualifier match was next, right? Was that the next match?
Thing talking about sure.
I want to say it was the qualifier match. If it wasn't, we'll get to it. Okay, we'll get to everything, but we're just gonna go by what I can see and what I remember, which is the qualifier match. Okay, so it was the women's qualifier match. So Natalya, I refuse to call that lady Natty. Natalya, Bayley, and Oscar was in this match together. And let me just say this: look, I know y'all think I'm hating on Natalya.
I am,
but I'm really not hating on her. Shut up, Jeremy. I'm really not hating on Natalya. What I want is I don't mind a little brutality and I don't mind a little bit of aggression. But Natalya's just does not seem realistic to me. It just comes across as fake. And I just don't believe her. Y'all can believe in it, y'all can enjoy it, whatever makes y'all happy. But me personally, I don't believe it. Even she don't sell it as well as she could. But that's a different horse of a different color. So in this match, the three ladies put on a decent match. I will say Natalya had her aggression hat on today. She did okay. But the match ended up going to Oscar. I generally wanted Bayley to win. I didn't realize that Bayley hasn't been in Chamber since she won with Sasha Banks for the tag team titles. I thought she's been in at least one more Chamber. Like, and it's no shade to Oscar. That I love Oscar. Oscar's great, but she didn't need this. And they have enough stars in the Chamber now where you can balance it. Bayley's a star. Put her in there. I don't understand why you gave this to Oscar. I'm not quite sure, but I don't think that match was booked properly. I don't like it. I wouldn't have given it to Natalya. No way. She was heavily protected, but because she didn't eat the pin, Bayley ended up tapping out in this match, which sucked even more because I didn't like that at all. I was pissed about that. I really, really wanted Bayley to advance in this tournament, and she didn't. So we gotta wait around again for when Bayley has her time. But I feel like the Elimination Chamber was a perfect chance to give Bayley to really show out the way that I know she could show out. And that just sucked. That sucked to watch. So, anyways, we're not gonna talk about, but Natalya ended up getting attacked. So to go back to Natalya and them, Natalya ended up getting attacked by Maxine, which is rightfully deserved because Natalya is on some bullshit. I don't know what you're talking about because when the bitch got in the ring, she got all up in Oscar's face. So much so she got Oscar's makeup on her face. And I was like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you, ho? Is you cool? Is you cool? Girl. Anyways, Liv Morgan crying ass was in the ring. Liv Morgan was back there talking to Michael and told Michael she not gonna tell him nothing, that she gonna milk this for as long as she can because she loves watching everybody squirm. And I was like, girl, please. Okay, we don't give a fuck about who you choose. Just pick somebody and be done with it. But of course, she's living her high life, holding on to her little piece of a man and sitting up there in that chair. So when Stephanie walked up, Stephanie interrupted and Stephanie said this. Now I'll put it up here because they translated it for everybody on Twitter later on after she said it. And I just thought Stephanie was just telling her, look, I've been on this grind for over 10 years. I've been doing my thing. I don't went from state to state, country to country, collected titles, did my job, and dominated. And you think I'm gonna let you come in to take my shit from me? Bitch, you're crazy. Now I thought that's what she said, but she said something much deeper. So let me read what she said. She said, you said 10 years of hard work. You talking about hard work? What the fuck are you talking about, Liv? You haven't sacrificed anything. WWE has handed you everything from the moment you started here. You have better medics, better trainers. You were handed everything. And you want to talk about sacrifice? I was born in Chile where pro wrestling didn't exist. I competed in Japan, Latin America, and Europe. I conquered everything. I should embarrass you for hiding behind the Judgment Day, for hiding behind him. I will tell you something though. I went through hell and I made it mine, only to go to WWE. And this title is for all the girls, all the women who never had the opportunity. And if you come after me, you won't win because I will show you what a real champion is. Apparently, this made Liv turn into a big ass crybaby. I was like, is what she said true? Is that why you're crying? Is that why we're crying? You had to have your dirty dom cart you off because you were too busy crying? There's no crying in wrestling. Crybaby ass. What you crying for? Ugh. Girl, I was like, why are we crying? What are you crying for? For what? Are we sad because she read you for filth? I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. But I don't care. I don't care. Just choose Stephanie so y'all can go at it and then you can really speak your truth. Now, if we're talking about Liv, outside of character, then we all know that Liv Morgan has had a hard life and she has struggled. Okay. But if Liv ain't gonna come out and make it so it's very clear that she ain't no pampered princess, then I ain't gonna have no holler for you. I'm just gonna let Stephanie eat your ass alive. You should have came back at her instead of sitting there crying like a little 10-year-old. I don't have no sympathizations for you. Not a drop. Not nan. I don't have no sympathy, babe. You should have cut her ass back, not letting her say whatever the hell she want to say to you like that. Girl, what's wrong with you? CM Punk came out there and cut a promo on Finn Balor. And basically, he was like, I don't feel like, that I'm jeopardizing the main event at WrestleMania. I don't feel like I'm doing that. I'm a fighting champion, and I believed in myself my entire career. So I don't have nothing to be afraid of. And I know I'm going to beat Finn Balor. I've beaten him before. I'll beat him again. Then Finn came out there with his goons because JD McDonough is back. Good for JD. I'm glad that JD's returned. They both came back and they both out there flanking him, which to me, it gave very much insanity because we've seen this little play before. We've seen all of this shit play out before. When Seth Rollins was champion a while ago and Finn Balor was going after that title, it was 1, 2, 3 times he went after that title and he had the same moves, the same shit, and the same story every single time. Judgment Day is going to help him. He couldn't get the job done, and boom, he ended up losing. So now we're repeating the same cycle and expecting a different result. Insanity. But Finn basically was like, you call yourself the best in the world. The best in the world to me is going and learning and beating the luchadors. The best in the world to me is training and earning the respect of all the Japanese dojos. So if we're going to run this down and make it very clear, if we're being honest, by that definition alone, I'm the best in the world. Okay? And you're just somebody holding my belt. And he was like, and when I beat you in Chicago, it's going to be proven that I'm the best in the world. And he said, not only is the main event not in jeopardy, it's going to be improved because I'm going to be in it. And I was like, okay. So CM Punk was like, you know what? The reason why I hunted you down and gave you the opportunity that you rightfully deserve because you once were that one guy. He said, let's keep it clear. He said, all those things you mentioned, all those things you did, yeah, you did them. I don't take that from you. But if I recall, you did them by yourself. I don't understand why you have JD McDonough, big bobblehead, and you've got little baby Mysterio out here with you for what? He said this whole time you've been in Judgment Day, instead of theory, it would mean that you would have elevated them. But it just seems that Judgment Day is dragging you down to their level. He was like, look at you. Your homeboy got 2 titles. And if we're going to throw a monkey wrench in there, I would have been like, the only title you've ever held while you was in the Judgment Day is a tag team title. And every time you've gone after a singles title, what happened? Either Judgment Day collapsed or you couldn't get the job done. And you're asking yourself why? You're sitting here and you're standing here telling me that you're the best in the world. Please. Please. Well, he said, you know what? It's cool. Because I know what this is. He said, you're trying to convince me that you didn't come out here and plan to jump me when you got these 2 goons on your side. All right, cool. So CM Punk turned around, put his back to Finn Balor, and he was like, so go ahead. Go ahead. Do what I know you're going to do. Be the man that you become and not the man that you should be. Go ahead and jump me and just prove everybody right. That when it's all said and done, you need Judgment Day more than they need you. He stopped his homeboys from jumping them. They stand there like, what are you doing? We had a plan. And he's like, no, don't do that. So we don't know. Now listen, I want y'all to spin reality for me for a second. Now we know that WWE has been having a hard time selling tickets, right? Because WrestleMania is not selling the way that they thought. Not only that, but they have been blocking city, they've been blocking restaurants and watch parties all throughout the city of Las Vegas. You cannot do a watch party in the city. You either go to the stadium or you're not going to be able to profit off of watch parties in your building. Okay? So what if Finn Balor wins this title in Chicago?
Oh, dang, wait a minute. They ain't show that on TV. Hold up.
What they ain't show on TV?
Fucking Maxine beat the shit out of Natalya.
Yes, they did. Is it backstage?
No, it was right after the match was over.
Yes, they did. I showed it to you. See, this how I know you don't be paying attention. Yes, they did show that. Now, what if Finn wins?
Right, my bad.
What if Finn wins? What if he wins? Then what? The main event is Roman versus Finn Balor. It'll be different. Now, a lot of people are excited for Roman versus CM Punk, though. I personally don't think that match going to be any greater than anything we've already seen from those two. The lead up to that match will probably be great, but the match itself, I don't think it's going to be good. But you know, the coach said, don't nobody want to see that. Listen, they got to do something. And knowing them, they probably going to bring Cody's ass over there and throw him in the mix and make it a fucking triple threat, which I don't want to see that either. But we're going to move on. We're going to move it right along. So El Grande Americano 2.0 got mad because El Grande Americano 1 is in a qualifier match next week. So he went to Adam and begged for an opportunity. Adam said the qualifier matches are done. They're done. We're not changing it. We're not adding to it. So El Grande, he said, so what do you want? So El Grande was like, how about an Intercontinental Championship match? And he was like, great. Everybody wants an Intercontinental Championship match since Dom came back. He said, I'm not going to hand you anything, but I will give you an opportunity. Today, you get a number 1 contenders match with an opponent. I will make sure he's out there when it's time. So go about your business. And of course, El Grande Americano was like groovy. Love that. His opponent was none other than Penta. Now, you would think that this would be a straight up match between these two. No, no, nay, nay. It was not. Now, we all know that El Grande Americano loves to cheat with his little steel, headpiece. And of course, his two goons, Rayo and Bravo, whatever the fuck they call themselves. Now, the match was happening, and as it happened, the real or the OG version of El Grande Americano came out, and that's what ended up costing El Grande Americano 2.0 the match. Okay, so this turned into a massive issue because Penta now is your number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Okay, and El Grande Americano 2.0 is not happy about the fact that he was cost an opportunity. So you know where this is headed, right? You're more than likely going to get a mass versus mass match heading into WrestleMania, which I'm actually pretty excited for because outside of the character work of both of these men, right? Ludwig and Chad Gable both can do really great matches. So I expect nothing less than greatness from both of them if they have this match. But the social media back and forth between the two of them is absolutely insane. And y'all know I love me some white on white crime. Okay, I live for white on white crime. It's amazing. The match ain't going to be good, but the Punk and Roman match in perspective needs to happen. Fair enough. But I'm just saying, given what we know, all the bullshit that's been happening as of lately, it ain't too far fetched to think that they would pivot. However, do whatever makes them happy. I'm not going to Vegas, no way. So, well, if it was in NOLA, we wouldn't have all these sales going on for it. Oh, shady boots. That's not my problem. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna be at home trying to eat nachos. If we make nachos, I don't know what we're making for Mania this year. What we cooking for Mania this year? We gotta figure out something. Anyways, y'all. So AJ Lee came out, and AJ Lee decided she was gonna, talk about her potential title run as Intercontinental Champion. I'm be honest with y'all. I don't care. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to AJ Lee because love her down. Good for you, babes. You're back. Do you? I don't care because Becky don't care that much, and you can kind of tell with the way that she has been operating in terms of her character work with AJ Lee. The fear that she has to me doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I can understand it if AJ Lee has been like an imposing figure, costing her everything, or like and I know she's lost to AJ Lee at every turn, right? Every doubles match, every match that she's had where she's had other people to flank her, she has lost, right? But AJ Lee hasn't been staying around. So she's not much of a threat to her until she's there. And even when she's there, Becky doesn't play it right, in my opinion. She gives her way too much power over her. And I know it's supposed to be that AJ Lee's in her head and she can't help it, but it's not like they're placating. When I hear them cutting promos, they're not placating on the things that are like, to make it make sense, the way I would stress it out is like AJ Lee is not attacking her based off of the fact that she's been losing to her every time she turns around, she's lost to AJ Lee. She's not stressing that as far as I'm concerned. Or am I wrong? Did I miss that in the promo, JJ?
No, it's all about right.
She's not stressing that. She's not using that as a ploy to really get into Becky's head, right? It's just that AJ Lee is like, I'm the better of you, and I've been here before, and I gave you a 10-year head start, and you still can't get to my level, even though you've broken all these records and made all this history. Here we are, and you're still a chump. That's pretty much what the gist of it, right? Whereas I just would have been like, every time you turn around, every time you make a play for me, every time you talk crazy or do something weird, and I'm here You always lose. You lost at WrestlePalooza. You lost at Survivor Series. You will always lose when it comes to me. You will never best me. And that's your problem. You can't beat me. And you know you can't beat me. Like, that's the thing that I felt like she should have rested in. And I understand AJ Lee has a lot of back and forth, right? She's like, I'm coming back and I'm proving to myself that I could do this and I haven't lost a step and I know I can get this done, right? I get all of that. No shade, I'm cool on that. Right. I just wish she would have leaned more into the fact that Becky hasn't beaten her since she got back, which is true. She hasn't. You know what I'm saying? Then Becky came out there and was talking shit, basically told her she been doing nothing but writing comic books for 10 years and they ain't nobody buying them. And I was like, that's fucked up. I was like, anybody buying your comic books, girl? Are they slop? Anyways, AJ was like, you can bring your ass in the ring then and we can just fight. We don't even have to worry about no titles. Because I know we got a title match at in Chicago, but what about us just brawling right now? I slap you in your shit and you try to compete against mine. Let's go. What's up? And of course, Becky was just standing there, acting like she wanted to punch her in the face, giving all these hard faces and wasn't doing nothing. She was like, come on, Becky, I'm right here. Put her hands behind her back and everything. And sis couldn't do it. And here's the thing. She would rather talk a bunch of shit than to just fight the girl. I would have slapped the shit out of her. She put her face out there. I would have slapped her. She didn't do that. It just the optics of it, the unnecessary not selling of it is making me lose interest. And as while I understand that this is something that they're really looking forward to, this looks like a match that probably is not going to end at Elimination Chamber. They're probably going to have AJ Lee lose on some fluke bullshit with Becky, and she's going to end up going after her at WrestleMania for that title again. And I'm just over it. I don't know. I'm just over it, and I just generally don't care. I just don't. Now, I don't think I missed that else. I think I covered everything. Final match of the night was Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Just to give you the once over logistics, to be fair, Javon Evans, Gunther, and Dom is a rag'em tag'em mix of people to put in a match. Okay, Dom was barely in this match until towards the end, but Javon Evans worked both of these men. He worked with Gunther heavily. He worked with Dom heavily. He did everything he could to make the match worthwhile. Where the match turned is when Gunther, thought he had control of everything because Dom kept trying to cheat, had that ring bell hammer in his boot. He tried to pull it out again, and that's when Gunther took the ring bell hammer out of his hand. Just before he could use it, he got busted in the face with the bell by none other than y'all undead king Dragon Lee. Okay, because a few weeks ago that nigga was hanging by Gunther's bicep dead. Okay. But he was deceased. Okay. But Gunther ended up getting knocked out by Dragon Lee. It's a triple threat. There's nothing they can do. The rules say disqualification is out the window. Okay. Now, Javon Evans was able to capitalize, but this was after Dom thought he had it. So he hit the 619 on Javon Evans, thought he was going to hit the frog splash and end it, but he couldn't get the frog splash off. Javon moved out the way. He was able to get up onto the top turnbuckle and hit the OG cutter for the dubs. Javon Evans has qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Our nephew is in the game. Now we got a high flyer and we got 3 technical ground and pound wrestlers. So let's get into the Elimination Chamber as we know it. AJ Lee will face off against Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber. And currently, right now, these are the 3 women who qualified, including Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and of course, Tiffany Stratton. Then for the men's championship, Finn Balor will face off against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then in the men's elimination chamber, we have Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and Javon Evans, who have qualified for the chamber. Are we excited? The prayers of the saints changed from regularly okay. Brought him from the dead, child. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, your chamber has been set. We have two more qualifiers. Okay. So, Friday, we have a qualifying match with Charlotte Flair, fuck ass Kiana, and we got another one. Who is in that qualifier match on Friday? Oh, I gotta pull it up, child, because I can't remember. Okay. So Friday's matchup is Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Kiana James. They will qualify, all potentially qualified for the Elimination Chamber. And on the men's side, you have Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest, who will be competing for the men's qualifier. Then on Monday, we have a qualifier match with Bronson Reed. Oh, it's Bronson Reed, Jay Uso, and somebody. Who is that third man? My brain. Work, goddammit. Anyway. Okay. It's Jay Uso, Bronson Reed, and OGL Grande Americano. And then for the women, you have Io Sky, Raquel, and Kyrie Sane. Those are the last of the qualifiers. Second to last, because Friday they should have one more set of qualifiers because we'll be heading into Elimination Chamber by then.
Next weekend.
Yeah, it's next weekend. So, also, it's F. Kevin Nash today for speaking on nephew Javon like that. Yeah, so Kevin Nash. Jalen Terry, thank you for bringing that up, sweethearts. We're gonna get to Kevin. We're gonna get to Kevin. Now, Kevin, listen. Usually, you don't really say nothing weird, but you out here being weird. Okay. You're out here being weird. Let me show y'all what he said. That way I don't have no misappropriations going up in here. Cause I don't want nobody to think I'm just misinterpreting shit. Hold on. Make sure I get it right. What's this? Oh, it's Rey Mysterio that's gonna be on the Cody show. Interesting. I thought it was gonna be fucking I don't know who the hell I thought it was. But hold tight, y'all. Oh, they got the pictures up here and everything. Cute. Let's get into Nash though. He made some comments on a podcast about Javon Evans, referring to him as Mr. Bojangles, saying that he wasn't urban enough for him. which I don't know what all that means, but sure, go off. Also, Ricochet is still talking, so we'll just say sure. We'll just be like, yeah, sure, whatever makes you happy. We haven't seen Royce Keys either. Where is he? Y'all had him debut in the Rumble only for him to not do nothing. What the fuck? Stephanie been champion for a year. Wow. All right, so let's read what he said. Read. I found it. All right. So over on Twitter, they have, put Kevin Nash's entire quote up, and we're gonna read it because no one likes to be taken out of context, right? Yes. So instead of making it seem as though he said something else, we're gonna tell you exactly what he said. Verbatim. We ready? Good. It says, and I quote, he's an incredible athlete. He's a little bit too fucking Mr. Bojangles for me. I wish he was a little bit more urban. I want you guys to let that rest in your spirit for a minute. I understand it's Netflix. I understand there's a big fucking world out there besides the one that this fucking 66-year-old Detroit boy Kevin Nash wants. But I just want him to have a little bit of an edge. He can strike. He throws a good punch. Fucking take your time and throw a good punch. Maybe put two or three together. Something where you tell me if this shit was real, all this athleticism I have, I can use. Not if this shit was real, I would cartwheel off your motherfucking body like you would never see. He sells good. He does everything good. It's just that you have to fight. This is off of the Click This show. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First, I'll let my folks have they say because they got stuff in the comments. They ready. They is ready to go out. I heard he did a dark match on SmackDown on Friday. Well, I want to see him on TV. Shit, you done did all this debuting and shit in the Rumble. The least you could have done is let the man wrestle and use that momentum from Rumble to go forward, right? Ugh. Nicole said Javon nice because I would have said some wild shit to Nash that would throw him and get me banned on Twitter and Instagram. Would have hit triple nose with the you better get him before I do because I'm gonna hurt his feelings. Better ask Tony about me, period. Okay. So I will preface this by picking apart what he said and then we'll go into it because the racist part is at the very beginning. And I'm just going to be honest with you. That part is a full on microaggression. It comes across racist, it sounds racist, and it looks racist. And I don't know about y'all, but it just is what it is. Okay. Now, some of y'all may not understand the reference to Mr. Bojangles. So let me just help y'all out a little bit. Let me just pull it up so y'all can see for yourselves. Okay, hold on. Time for a history lesson, loves. As usual, you're always learning something over here with me. So when you Google Mr. Bojangles dance, up comes up the famous actor and dancer, Mr. Bojangles. And his name was Bill Robinson. Okay. And Bill Robinson was an American top dancer, actor, and singer, and he was best known and most highly paid Black entertainer in the United States during the first half of the 20th century. His long career mirrored changes in American entertainment taste and technology. Okay. Hmm. So I remember Mr. Bojangles for being in one of the Shirley Temple movies. If I remember this dance scene that you're seeing here that's over on YouTube, is from a movie called The Little Colonel. And Mr. Bojangles was teaching Shirley Temple how to do his infamous stair dance, which is a scene. So he's very, very famous. He was born on May 25th, 1878, and he died on November 25th in 1949. Okay. Mr. Bojangles is a legend. So to compare him to Mr. Bojangles is very interesting. Although I know he meant it as like he's just a little too happy go lucky for me. The comparison, while for us that know about Mr. Bojangles didn't sound that bad, it can come across very racist when you look at Mr. Bojangles and the shit that he went through to be able to do what he did. Now, the problem I have with Menashe's statement is that he goes further. He goes further in his statement to say that I wish he was a little bit more urban. I don't know what all that means, but I'm just gonna take it as this is some bullshit. Okay. That's what I thought. I know I'm not crazy. So he wants to be more and wants him to be more thuggish. That's what I think when I hear urban. The urban can be described in many ways. I mean, you could say thuggish, you can equate it to black, but when he says urban, I always equate it to niggerish, hood, harder. You want to be angry. And that's a thing that I see being thrown around when it comes to a lot of black wrestlers.
Everybody not gonna be Mark fucking Henry.
Exactly. I tell him, worry about that plot you had to dig up. So play somewhere safe because I'm not. Oh shit. Like Kevin, please sit your big and tall self down somewhere, child. Here's my problem. I wouldn't have had an issue with this statement if he said, I want him to have a little bit more edge to him. I want to see what he can do when he's got a little bit more aggression. That's different. Even though I don't like the fact that black men are always pigeonholed into one little box. Black men have to be perceived as angry. They have to be perceived as aggressive. They have to be perceived as big, burly attackers. They are never allowed to be seen as black, happy men. And they did this same shit to New Day. They did the same shit to Kofi. Y'all ran Kofi's ass out of that championship. When he became champion, y'all didn't give Kofi a fucking chance in hell to be champion. And then when Vince made him lose in the most egregious way possible, y'all set y'all asses up on podcasts and on the internet and said, see, I told you he wasn't worthy. When you know damn well that he was. You know full well that he was. You did the same thing to Big E. You treated Big E like he didn't deserve to be champion either. You dogged him out. You said Bobby Lashley should have kept it. Bobby Lashley's a better wrestler. Fuck y'all. Everybody not gonna be no motherfucking mad, angry black man. That's not always the trope that needs to be seen. You need to see everybody in a different light. It is okay for him to be happy. He's 21 years old. 21. And he is living a dream that most people could only fathom. They could only think about. He is living it. The thing he dreamt about as a child.
He's doing it.
He gets to do it. In the days of his time, in the time he gets to do it at his prime. In his youth, he gets to do it. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how rare of a gem you have to be where you get to live out your dreams even right after you've dreamed it?
Mm-hmm. You're in your 20s doing something you dreamed about doing since you were a kid.
Do you understand how rare of a gem that is for you, for any human being? And for that boy to be able to do that, and you sit your big Frosty the Snowman looking ass up on the goddamn podcast talking shit when you done already smoked, drugged out, and did your motherfucking dreams. Now, what we not gonna do is drag this boy down because you don't like what you're seeing. If you're not okay with Javon Evans as he is, that's fine by me. But if your ass can be okay with Dom Mysterio walking around with a 30-inch bust down mullet, walking around pigeon-toed with his fur boots on, coming out there, jumping off the top rope and doing all the shit he doing, you could be okay with Javon Evans. If you could be okay with Vanity Project and their terrible haircuts, their haircuts are horrible. If you're all right with Vanity Project and their bullshit, then you could be okay with Javon Evans. Stop fucking playing with me. Leave that boy alone. And when it's time for him to show you depth, he will show you depth. He just got there. You do not put those requirements on anybody else. And the only reason why you ain't saying shit about Obafemi is because Obafemi gives you the edge that you're looking for. But that's the bullshit I'm talking about. Everybody don't need to be an Obafemi. Everybody don't need to be a motherfucking Mark Henry. Sometimes it's okay for them to be who they are. And Javon Evans ain't trying to be nobody but himself. And all you motherfuckers who keep saying that he needs to do this and he needs to do that, you're weird. You're weird because your requirements aren't placed on anybody else. You only do that to black people. And that's the strange part. Y'all do it to Bianca. You do it to Naomi. Y'all didn't give Naomi no respect until she went heel. And that's crazy to me. Because the skill didn't change. The wrestling didn't change. So what are we talking about? Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. It's Black History Month too. Y'all always find some way to do some ignorant shit on Black History Month. Sick of this shit. She said, because I would go there. And that's all Kevin had to say. I would disagree, but I wouldn't be this mad about it. That's what I'm saying. All he had to say was, I wish he had a little bit more edge to him. And that would have been cool with me. I would have been like, okay, elaborate. What you mean by edge? But the moment you go further and be like, he needs to be more urban, what does that mean? Because you're equating urban to blackness. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but that just is not true.
You off me with Mr. Bojangles shit.
You're on some bullshit. That's why Kevin built like an apostrophe, bitch.
Just saying.
I didn't think about what an apostrophe looks like.
Well, I'm gonna do something. Just be the bigger man and walk away. Apparently, you can't do that straight.
I can't. Javon is going to the stratosphere, and he's getting that Jeff Hardy response from the crowd. Period. Every big relevant name in the WWE and in the business have done nothing but give Javon his praises and flowers. That says a lot. What that man got to say, I don't care what that man got to say at all. I agree. It's very rare. That boy is blessed. I'll be 40 this Friday, but I'm still grateful for the opportunity I've had in the indie scene. Man, oh, it's gonna be 40. Remy's gonna be 40.
Man, who my birthday twin?
Remy.
Oh shit.
My husband's birthday is Friday.
Also turning 40.
He also turned 40. We all turning 40, Remy. We all, but you know what? Embrace that 40. We a good 40, bitch. We a good 40. We don't even look it. We don't even look it. The skin is beautiful. It's glowing. It's glowing. Anyways, listen. All I'm telling y'all is, especially if you don't understand what's being said and how it's being said, he's 66 years old. So he very much understands what he said and how it was out of line. Okay? But let me tell y'all something. I am about to be 40. The end of December, I'll be 40. I'm not going to take none of this shit no more from people. Y'all are going to learn how to either get with the times or learn how to curb your stupidity. Because this was just dumb. I'm not saying you had a shitty take on Javon. You can say and make your assessment about Javon Evans on your own all you want to. But my problem is you had to make it ugly in the beginning instead of just saying it right so it didn't come out so nasty. Now you got people like me and all of the black diaspora on your ass because you saying weirdo shit. This is what I want y'all to do from now on. Like the rest of us should do. What I do. Because sometimes the things that's in your head just do not deserve to be on the fucking internet. You feel what I'm saying? Before you say anything, write that shit down in your notes on your phone. Like type that shit out. Tell me if that made sense when you said it. You put it in your phone, you reading it back. That sound racist. Maybe I shouldn't say urban at the beginning. Yeah, I'm just gonna say he needs to have an edge. Like really run through the script. You know what I'm saying? Really check and see if your thoughts are really valid. Because that is how it's not a political correctness. Because some of y'all are weird when it comes to that. Y'all be like, oh, y'all just want me to be politically correct, and I'm not trying to do that. No, because our politicians are not politically correct. The fuck I want you to be that for? If I wanted you to hurt my feelings, I just tell you to tell it to me straight. What I want you to do is act like you got some goddamn sense because I don't sit up and think of ways that I can say things that are racist against you. You're referencing a historical figure to this young black man for what? I need to understand why you're correlating Mr. Bojangles with Javon Evans. Is it because he's a happy-go-lucky person? Because he smiles all the time? Is he supposed to be angry all the time? Is he not supposed to have a smile on his face and enjoy the life that he's been able to curate at 21? He's been able to curate this. Because I know damn well your ass wasn't there at 21. Because if you were, you'd be dead. I'm just going to keep it real with you. You would be deceased. Okay? Because you wouldn't be able to survive it. You just wouldn't. He said, birthday twins. He said, hey, we look good as fuck. and do. I would have went to Hunter and told him to get his friend, period. As my grandma used to say, don't let everything that comes to mind proceed from mouth, period.
Right.
Because it's word vomit at this point. And you could have saved yourself a lot of trouble just by going over what you're saying in your head or just writing it out. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm dead ass serious. This was stupid. And it didn't even have to be that dumb. It didn't even have to be this racist. You could have easily just said, I want Javon Evans to have more edge to him. I want him to be more aggressive when he throws his strikes. He's good at throwing strikes, but sometimes I just need to have a little bit more oomph to it. You know what I'm saying? So it looks cleaner. It looks like it's realistic. It looks like if this boy was in a fight in the street, he'd be throwing hands. He'd be whooping ass. That sounds different, doesn't it? It don't sound like I need him to be a nigga. I need him to be a plain, flat out nigga. I don't want him to be no Sambo ass, tap dancing ass nigga. I don't like that. Give me a raw, hood, country born fed nigga. Because that's what I heard when I heard him say Mr. Bojangles and he needs to be more urban. That's what came in my mind. Am I wrong? I'm wrong for that? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought. I need him to be more niggerish. And I hate every minute of it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stick Krishan Rock on him, showing what urban really looks like, girl. Child, at this point, girl. Woo! There's another time for another day. Hello, how are you? I will tell y'all this. I understand that he's older, but that's no excuse. It needs to be curbed. You can say whatever you need to say about a wrestler and assess them without going in on their race and making it racial. He made it racial from the very beginning, and he didn't have to. I have easily reworked his entire sentence by just saying, I want the boy to have more edge to him. Cut out all this bullshit and filler he put in there and got straight to the point. It's not hard to do. But still, here we are. It is 2026, and you motherfuckers cannot get y'all shit together for nothing. I don't give a fuck about you being 66 and being from Detroit. The mere fact that you're from Detroit should make you at least have some fucking respect for black people. But again, here we are. And it's Black History Month. And you can't get your shit together for nothing. Now, if you just now coming in and you don't know what's going on, Kevin Nash got on the internet and basically said, okay, that Javon Evans is too fucking Mr. Bojangles for him, and he wished he was a little bit more urban. He said, I understand it's Netflix. I understand it's a big fucking world out there besides the one that besides the one that fucking 66-year-old Detroit boy Kevin Nash wants, but I just want to see him have a little bit more of an edge. He can strike, he throws a good punch. Fucking take your time and throw a good punch. Maybe put 2 or 3 together. Something where you tell me if this shit was real, all this athleticism I have, I can use. Not if this shit was real, I would cartwheel off your motherfucking body like you would never see. He sells good. He does everything good. It's just that you have to fight. That's what he said. And I just want him to be quiet because he put his whole foot in his mouth by saying this, and it was unnecessary. Speaking of putting your foot in your mouth, let's talk about Ricochet. Ricochet has been on quite the tear on the internet as of late. And he recently put out a statement about Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and I want to say it was a third person that he had on there, and I don't remember who that person was. Let me see, because I shared it in my group chat. And I really do want to read what he said. So let me go back. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I put it in here. Here it goes. So Ricochet basically said that Apollo Crews, Finn Balor, and Shinsuke Nakamura have all suffered the same fate that he suffered. He said, and I quote, same thing happens to Balor. He said, Ricochet says his 5 years on the WWE main roster tarnished his wrestling legacy. And he said the same thing happened to Balor. It happens to Balor, Shinsuke, and Apollo, and many others. WWE kills legacies and the love of the sport. It's what they do best. So here's where I think he's wrong. If your legacy is defined by what you did in WWE, then your legacy really wasn't solidified before you got to WWE in the first place. My problem with Ricochet is he sounds like a bitter ex. And while I understand that he has a right to feel however he feels in terms of his time in WWE, I have no issues with that. Talk your truth. But when you speak on other people's careers and how you equate them to yours, you have to know that you are far behind all of them, even before you got to WWE. Without Finn Balor and the Bullet Club, a lot of people that people idolize and love probably wouldn't be at the top of the mountain right now. Finn Balor is the one who set forth a lot of people's careers, including one of your favorites in Cody Rhodes and in Kenny Omega. Without him and the initiation of the Bullet Club, there would be no slot for the Good Brothers, for AJ Styles to come into New Japan and take over. And for everybody to come behind them with the elite of the Bullet Club, like the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, like I said, and for Kenny Omega. All of this stuff was set in motion by Finn Balor and the Bullet Club prior. So for you to sit up here and say that Finn Balor's legacy is now tarnished, not only is that not true, it's a bunch of bullshit for you to be putting that off on them when that's how you feel about you. Okay? That's how you feel about you. Furthermore, the same thing goes for Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura's legacy isn't tarnished by WWE. It's been slowed down, true enough. I don't think he was booked right, just like I don't think Finn has been booked right. I don't think that Apollo Crews has been booked right. But to say that legacies have been tarnished, do you understand the idea of what a legacy is? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes it seem like everything that they've done prior to WWE is now irrelevant because they've been in WWE. So you're just gonna be like, oh, WWE just completely erases everything that they've done, and they've destroyed their red legacy. They've destroyed them in their entirety because they've been there and they haven't been booked right. If that's the case, then how come Ciampa was able to leave WWE and go over to AEW and do some really amazing matches from what I hear? Shouldn't he now be tarnished because his legacy wasn't as great as it could have been? If that's the case, then guys like Samoa Joe shouldn't have been able to go to AEW and do amazing things there either. Like the way you're talking, it's not that you are not allowed to say how you feel, but what you're not allowed to do is go after other stars who have been thriving in WWE at one point. May not have been thriving by your liking, but they have thrived on in different air spots. Sami Zayn being one of them. And you're sitting here like, yeah, well, Sami Zayn, his legacy was better as El Generico than it was as Sami Zayn. I need you to not only show some respect to your peers and respect them for the legacies that they've created, but also respect the fact that they work for the company currently, and there's really nothing that they can say or do to work talk against what you're saying unless they're asked. It's unfair for you to say this knowing that they cannot defend themselves. And what really baffles me is that you know exactly what you're doing and you know what you're saying is out of line per these people being at least peers, co-workers, former co-workers, and possibly some of them being your friend, and you out here talking reckless on them like that. I wouldn't fuck with you after that. Because you jeopardizing my money and you jeopardizing our friendship at that. That's a no-go for me. You out of line. So I'm about to throw my hat up. And it's simple like they did in Montgomery, Alabama. Because what? Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I don't know. You're going to have to go call them, baby. I don't know how you get in there. I think he's mad because his career has gone missing. And no one wants to put up flyers to find it. Ooh, child. And here's the thing: when Ricochet got to AEW, he was booked relatively strong, and he got to do some really great things. And now he's a champion, but he's being booked. Is he being booked okay now that he's a heel? I guess you could say that. But given from what I've seen, Ricochet hasn't really been on TV that much as of lately. I know that he's on Ring of Honor, I believe. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, he got a strong booking and then it slowed down. So what's the difference between his booking as Intercontinental Champion and his booking in AEW? What's going to happen in AEW is the same thing that happened in WWE. Eventually, they're going to lose interest in him because he's not bringing in the revenue that they thought he would. That's what happens with all the superstars that jump ship to AEW and vice versa. When you go to WWE, it's even worse from AEW. It happens all the time. The problem with Ricochet has nothing to do with booking. It has everything to do with his ability to be able to sell a story. He's a professional wrestler. He's not a character. And there's a big difference. And while, yeah, he makes it fun, they're having a good time calling him bald and all that stuff catches on, eventually it dies out. And then where are you? You have nothing to show for it. And I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler. He is. But the problem is, this is the man who needs to have the edge. And I'm not talking about running around being crazy, cutting people and blood and wiping blood on your clothes. That's not an edge. That's a gimmick. We're talking about you being real and down to earth for a second. and really honing in on what you can want your character to look like and what you want him to be. And since you have a lot of freedom in AEW, it shouldn't be hard for you to curate that character. But I know that you can't because you don't know how to. Because if you did, you would have done it already. But I digress. Go to Florida and talk. It's bad creative writing. Look, somebody else told me to apply for a WWE job because I had this idea and I'm gonna run it past y'all and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I know some of y'all gonna disagree. But I need y'all to hear me out. It's a hear me out type of session. I need y'all to hear me out. So listen, I was talking to my friend and he was spitballing. He was like, WWE got to do something because things are not going great. And I'm like, I've always been an advocate of an off season when it comes to WWE. To me, WrestleMania should always be an end all be all, like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is an end all be all, is it not, Jared? Mm-hmm. Once the champions win, they're the champions. And then when the new season starts, the champions go into the season as what? The current champions, right? It does not change until we get to the Super Bowl. Now, the current champions can get knocked out of being the new champions, right? They can get knocked out of the shot of becoming a two-time champion for the Super Bowl. Is that not true? Mm-hmm. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. If after WrestleMania, we do a hard stop and we do a full-on break for a month, so that means the month of May or after April, all the way up after April, all the way up into the month of May, from like, let's say it's 18 to 19. So from the 19th of May to the 18th, from the 19th of April to the 18th of May, that's the break period. That means the superstars can go on vacation, they can take a rest, do whatever they want to do. They can keep going to the performance center every week, working out. And then what you can do is you will give creative enough time to reset and be able to start working on the next set of storylines, because the problem is this door is ever revolving. And this is also an issue with AEW as well. The door is constantly evolving. There's no breaks. There's no stops. You don't give people enough time to miss the show, to want it, to need it, to crave it. You don't give us enough time for that. And we need time for that. Look, this is how they could do it. You stop the show at WrestleMania. You don't have to stop the feud, but you can make it so that it's solid and what's done is done. Cool. Right. During that month time, instead of having replays or whatever, you can do a greatest hits show. You can do the best matches of 2026, whatever the case may be. Greatest matches of 2025, whatever. But you also have your podcasters running weekly, Raw and SmackDown both, right? Have them running weekly, and they need to be in the time slots of a regular Raw and a regular SmackDown. Okay, you have that shit going every week, and this is where you start to build the next set of feuds. This is where you lay out how you're going to start bringing it in. You have your panel up there, you sit and you talk. And you talk about how I would move as the champion now. I would come in and assert my dominance as champion. You would set up how they would bring in the next set of people, who would be coming after the title, who should be the next number one contender. You would have time to do a number one contenders tournament, which the first couple of months or the first month of Raw, you would have plenty of time to set up before we hit Backlash. Okay? This is before we get to Backlash. You would have a whole tournament set up, and this would not be a tournament based off of emotion or some type of feud that's already building. No. This tournament would be a freestanding tournament of either just former champions, or you would do all new superstars. Everybody that has never been a champion gets a shot at the title, right? You can build something when you're not working 24/7. You need a fucking break. They need to do this. And during that week, you can put on 3 different shows. Okay, you already got shit running on A&E with LFG, and you could bring back WWE's Hidden Treasures. That shit was a good show. Make it happen. You know what I'm saying? For real. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I truly remember from Ricochet was when the Trick and Mello was clowning him about holding the mic. Don't hurt yourself, dog. Stuck with me. That's crazy. It is because Ric Flair's over there, right, and everything. Uh, Ricochet's still mad that even in AEW, he's still treated like the Blue Power Ranger. Ooh. Question: are you in the biz? No, no, I am not. But I wouldn't mind to be paid to do it. I wouldn't mind the coin. The problem you have to bring the heat without politics. The problem you have to bring the heat without politics. No, they only want four-way matches. I disagree. I don't. You don't have to do it that way. There's all kinds of ways to skin a cat, my G. And at this point, their way isn't working. So fatal four ways don't need to happen. You can have it so that it's set up to it's a tournament, and each match is a qualifier, and you can do if you want to do a final fatal four way to determine who goes. Fine. But you can do 4 weeks of matches. The last match is the week of the backlash. The champion comes out and you set it up. This could be the beginning of the feud, whether the champ loses or wins. It'll be the beginning of the feud, and you set forward with that person. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to go that way. I'm saying they need an off season, not only for the superstars and their need to be able to have a break and at least be able to attempt to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but also so that the creative team can reset and rejuvenate. They need the ability to be able to reset their minds. Think about us as fans watching this every single week, right? It's got to be 50 times harder as a creative writing team to try to make this shit work. Like your brain is on constantly on power mode 24/7. You don't have a chance to really sit down and just think. I don't have to do this for a living. So it's easier for me to come up with a solution to the problem. Plus, I'm on the outside looking in, and I have a little bit more foresight and discernment than most people do. So it's easier for me to see a problem happening down the line. Whereas somebody creating this story, they might say, oh, this is cool for right now. But in the end, it really isn't because you're making decisions based off of ticket sales and what everybody else is thinking, but you're not thinking about long term and how this could affect the bottom line of the stories that you're producing. Your only concern is to make sure WrestleMania is a banger. But you didn't do that checking before you set WrestleMania to be Mania for this year, which is what you should have done. You should have stayed in New Orleans and you wouldn't be having that problem right now. Ticket prices would be reasonable and everybody wouldn't be causing you so much strife. But you thought you were invincible. You thought that WWE would be protected and you put yourself in a bind and now you're going to have to dig yourself out. Now they're putting tickets on sale at 25% off because you're not listening to your fans. And it's just starting to become a problem. I want an off season. It gives the superstars and the fans a break. Some people have been complaining of an overload of PLEs as of late. That's what I'm saying. I used to love the countdown shows with the superstars talking about it and giving their opinions. Exactly my point. They are not concerned. Spot on. So here's my thing. You can bring back New Day's podcast. New Day's podcast was fun. I love New Day's podcast. Out of all the podcasts they had, Corey's, New Day's, I love New Day's podcast. It was so much fun to listen to, right? And like I said, it's an off season, so they can either do their podcast and talk about the fun stuff they did, or they can stay in full character and do the podcast and start adding fights. Like, and this is the thing. You can make this work because y'all already utilize social media to do everything, right? So you can do these podcasts, have people create feuds online and have them air their shit out on the podcast and be like, it's okay because on such and such date when we come back to TV, I'm going to get your ass together. And let that be the catalyst. Let that be the catalyst to start the feuds. You can have them attacking each other on social media. You can see physical videos of them getting attacked. Like all kind of stuff could be happening here. And you really can make this shit work. But I'm just a lowly fan watching. I don't know. On that note, I'm gonna get my ass up out of here. I will see you on Wednesday when we talk about NXT. And of course, it's always Freestyle Wednesday where we talk about any and everything. I will see y'all then. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.